As one who leaves not just landmarks but long-lasting legacies on the sands of time. President Bola Tinubu has demonstrated the true powers of visionary leadership with the launch of the construction of the 700-kilometer Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. President Tinubu, who described the landmark project as a symbol of hope, said it will create direct and indirect jobs, boost business opportunities, and pave the way for community development. The president was in Lagos to inaugurate projects as part of activities to mark the first anniversary of his administration. Let's share the story by our correspondent, Sarah Ayeku and Adedoja Salam Adeniyi.
It's another homecoming for President Bola Tinubu as he arrives Section 1, Phase 1 of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, in company of state governors, members of the National Assembly, APC party leaders, and traditional rulers. Lagos, Nigeria's commercial capital, is hosting these dignitaries to flag off the ambitious 700-kilometer superhighway, a 10-lane road project that represents President Tinubu's commitment to facilitate economic growth and improve the living standard of Nigerians.
May 29th, 2023, we have over 40 new projects ongoing throughout the 6 geopolitical zones. Today, we have selected some of the roads and bridges to represent the race of the new projects for Mr. President to flag off. We are not just starting from one point, we are starting this Section 1 in about 4 locations. At the end of the project, we are about starting concreting. So the target is to finish this Section 1, not in 36 months, but in 24 months. So that, Mr. President, you will commission this first section of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway within the next 2nd year in office, and we shall toll it and we begin to recover, do return on investment.
But the beauty of this is not only in Lagos, because this route goes and traverses Ogun State, goes into Ondo State, before it finally do a bus stop at Cross River State. Mr. President, you deserve a big round of applause. This is not about you. This is not about your renewed hope. This is about the generational change that you are doing.
For a man who conceived the idea of a coastal highway as a governor, achieving it as a president surely gives him bragging rights.
To me, today is my day to brag. It's my bragging day. Don't be afraid. We will do this road. 700 kilometers. It will be a success for Nigeria, and we'll do more of this.
As part of the Renewed Hope agenda, the president flagged off the 700-kilometer Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, 1,000-kilometer Sokoto-Badagry Highway, a design and procurement of 461-kilometer Africa Trans-Sahara route, and the reconstruction and rehabilitation of 330 roads across the 6 geopolitical zones.
This is a major transformation for Nigeria. We're going to see economic transformation. The prosperity is unprecedented. We are going to see the development of industries like the steel industry, even the cement industry will pick up. Construction is one of the major drivers for job creation and for economic prosperity.
This is a historic project for Nigeria. It's not a project for one man or one person. That is why I want all of Nigeria to embrace this project. It's not a project for APC. It's not a project for Bola Tinubu. We should own this project, and if we own it, the possibilities are incredible.
The president is expected to return to Abuja on Tuesday for another round of commissioning. This time around, another minister in his cabinet will be showing off projects completed in less than a year. Sarah Ayeku, TVC News, Lagos.
President Bola Tinubu, represented by the Senate President Godswill Akpabio, was joined by the federal and state government top officials.
This, for me, is a great feat by any standards. Nothing to add than to say yes, this is just the beginning of the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President.
The 36-kilometer by 10 lanes paved road, which began under the Muhammadu Buhari administration and completed by President Tinubu, was financed by the Dangote Group using tax credits. The road is expected to bring relief to port users and operators who had suffered great losses as a result of the bad roads and traffic problems in the area.
We have two ports that it's responsible for about 80% of our cargo in this country, the Apapa port and the Tinkan port. Therefore, taking off loads that go all the way to the east, to the Middle East, to the north, that road needs to be well fixed.
The Apapa-Orun-Sheki Road will be a catalyst for economic development, creating employment opportunities during and after construction. It has also permitted accumulation of experience in building concrete roads across Nigeria.
Mr. President also inaugurated virtually the rehabilitated Third Mainland Bridge.
I'm happy to announce that Mr. President, as the chairman of FED, banned nationwide any form of excavation of sand or mining of sand 10 kilometers downstream of any bridge and upstream of any bridge. So if you are going to excavate for any sand, it has to be 10 kilometers away. We're also working in Murtala Mohammed Bridge and a couple of other bridges.
The Third Mainland Bridge has high vehicular traffic as many residents commute to and from the Lagos mainland to the island, which is the commercial hub of Lagos State. Motorists have been warned to maintain the speed limit of 80 kilometers per hour on the bridge.
Third Mainland Bridge measures 11.8 kilometers in length, has undergone rounds of repairs and replacement of bearings and worn-out expansion joints. But this is the first time this bridge will be witnessing a comprehensive repairs and complete asphalt resurfacing since its construction 34 years ago. Adedoja, Salam Adeniyi, TVC News, Lagos.
Those are reports by our correspondents, Adedoja Salam Adeniyi and Sarah Ayeku. GKB, let me come to you on this. So much, to hope for from these landmark projects that has been commissioned by President Bola Tinubu. We've talked about direct and indirect job opportunities, boosting of tourism opportunities, and so much more. But what are your thoughts on these projects undertaken by this current administration?
Two things, really. We are long overdue for infrastructural renewal. The last time we had such a massive input into infrastructure was during the 75-79 period. The first coming of Olusegun Obasanjo and Murtala Mohammed. That was the last time we really had this much input. That was when the Lagos Ibadan, Shagamu, Benin, even the old, what they now mentioned, Adagri, Sokoto, all these were built around that period. And most of them were built basically to move goods and services from our ports up north or to the east, as the case may be. So this is long overdue. We've not done massive infrastructure renewal at this magnitude for a long time. We've done some. We've done repairs, we've done redesign. Because what it's doing now, for anybody who is a consultant, development consultant, will tell you that ultimately the Lagos-Calabar, Lagos-Sokoto will probably lead to the Trans-Sahara Highway that will go from Sokoto down to Maiduguri and then maybe come down to Sokoto again. And don't forget that the minister also promised the star attraction of this administration, the Lagos-Abuja Highway, which he said is going to cut the traffic by 5 hours. That's what he said. You know the Nigerian factor. But that's about. I tend to be optimistic that if they can deliver all of it, and if they can, that's why I'm very happy when they broke down into segments the Lagos-Calabar road. So at any given time, instead of waiting 13 years, 14 years for the entire road to be completed, maybe you can have the Lagos-Ondo access ready. Have the maybe Port Harcourt-Calabar access ready. And then we have that in portions. So by the end of the day, in 2 years, people can move to the road, maybe divert on some access and come back to the road, another place. At least these things will be usable by the end of the president's first term. That to me is key. That they've done the Lagos, the Apapa show, the express road. Wow. That one to me is fantastic.
You fly that way regularly.
Yeah, not only that.
You've encountered some.
I have fond memories of, because like most people didn't realize this, that at a point there was the road coming from Ladipo crosses to Shoti before the express. So the express itself was basically to break roads. So for me, that is fundamental. All over the world, people are moving on now to concrete roads. They're now using cement. For even India right now, just finished their own 700 kilometers road. They started in 2018. So people are moving to roads that will last. That will last 50 years, 40 years. 2 days ago, there are portions of the Shagamu-Benin Road that are extremely bad. The portion from Shagamu, interchange, all the way to Djibouti. After they've done this, they'll look into those axes as well. But to me, the renewal is fundamental to the growth of our coastal communities and to those on the Western Corridor.
Paul, in as much as this is a good initiative, because it's going to open doors for a lot of communities along the axis, we're talking about those who had to lose their properties on the side because of these, infrastructural developments. But if you to look at it, side by side, do you think perhaps there should have been a little bit of consideration, although they were compensated? Or do you think perhaps maybe the government could have done something a little more different?
Well, normally when there is going to be major development, some people have got to make sacrifices. If you are going to open up a road, a major road like that, it is not strange that you find structures give way. And in fact, if I remember well, I think the minister said that even though some of the people that would be compensated do not really have approved, approved structures, the government will still wear human face, and still compensate them. I think it's a good thing. I haven't heard anyone complain yet that they have not been duly compensated or they will not be compensated. So there's nothing strange or there's nothing, it's not out of place that those structures have to go for the project. But let me at this point also appeal to Nigerians that are very skeptical, about the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway. Now, I understand that it is in the nature of Nigerians to be very, very skeptical about their leaders. And you don't blame them. Absolutely. Because of years of gross ineptitude by government. He just said something about the fact that we've not had this massive building of infrastructure since the 70s. So Nigerians are passing through bad roads, So, but then let us give this government the benefit of the doubt. Now, when I look at there are so many ways to talk about, but let me focus on this Lagos Calabar Road. When I look at the potential, the tourism potential, the improved transportation, the job creation. Anytime there's construction alone creates job massively for people. You understand? When I look at all of those, when I look at the fact that it is going to affect at least 30 million people positively. Now, I don't think it's something that we just have to say, no, we don't need it. I've heard people say, this is not what we need now. So, if we don't need it, when do we need it? During the time of my grandchildren? When do we need it? Development continues. There will always be room, even after we are dead and gone, there will always be room for development. So if you say, not now, so when? When should we develop development? So mine is that let government see it through. Right. Let government see it through. Let them do it in phases. Look at the light rail project of Lagos State. Look at when it started. Look at where we are now. And there's still more, the journey still continues. So I think we should just give this government benefit of the doubt. It's a welcome development. Amid the news of the undulating movement of the Naira and all of that, it's a welcome development. I welcome it heartily.
Right. GKB, your final thoughts on this matter. Even if there are some skeptics about this project. And the president said we should not be afraid. We should see that this project will see the end of this project. How convinced are you on this? And do you think there could be an evaluation process or monitoring process, as it were, to ensure that this project comes to the light of day?
In the days of social media, there always be monitoring. There are people who are not only skeptical, they've made it their life's mission to ensure they monitor this to the very last. When it comes to monitoring, I'm not afraid. A lot of people will come aboard, they will go there physically, they will spend time and resources to hold government accountable. The reason why I'm optimistic is this. They've broken the road into sections. So I'm not afraid, because what I'm looking at is this. Like I said earlier, if those sections can be completed, they will already be useful for those using that particular access. Let's say from Port Harcourt to Calabar is ready in 2 years. Imagine the level of economic activities it will generate in that access. Imagine the one from Lagos, Ogundo, they were ready, let's say, in 3 years. Imagine what it will do. At least they are not pretending. They are going to wait until the entire 700 meters are completed. That to me is the joy. Because the problem with the black man is that we assume that we start something and it will be in a straight line. It doesn't always work like that. If they could keep to that, the segmentation of the road, I guarantee you, no matter what happens after this government is gone,